no matter what you think about Satori's work, you can never take away that the guy does not know how to make great epilogues. The dude always knows how to do an after story. No matter what story you think about it. It could be something you like, something you think is mid, or something that's great, or something that's just, you just don't like at all. You think it's terrible. But that's okay. But he'll always guarantee one of the best epilogues in every story he creates. And not even just that. He also does it to the point where you could be reading one of his other stories and you'd be like, whoa, this is the descendants to this character, or they're related to that character, and stuff like that. Or they can mention something that happens into another story. It's proving that all the worlds are connected, whether it's through timeline, space, or even different universes, or even different lives as well. They're all connected in certain ways. So that's what makes a lot of the fans of his to look forward to his next work, seeing how these characters in that world is connected to whatever world he has created beforehand. It's always an interesting guess and putting theories together. But before I get into all that, let's talk about the journey's end of our heroes here, from the first season and the second season. First, we had the ending to the first season heroes. You know, it seems like every one of them owed the mountain god something, because they all went to her for help, and they were too afraid to pay off the debts at the time. But sooner or later, they would have to pay up. So that's what they did. You know, Shinsuke had to take out Wizen. And in my opinion, like I said, at the end of the day, Shinsuke became my favorite character because everything he went through. In my opinion, he had the best character development because you saw him grow from season 1 all the way up to the end of season 2, where he's just this dude who's looking for power. He feels like he's weak, doesn't really know how to fight that well. But as time goes on, people are impressed with his skills or how he's able to go into the spiritual world and talk to other people and to calm down Katawara and be friends with them. Heck, he made an entire village where the Katawara live in peace. They don't eat humans or attack people. They all coexist, you know. If his ideals passed out there, him and all the Katawara and the world could have been this union, this almost utopia. At least a new great change anyways. But it only stayed within the village, however, so that's kind of a disappointment. But whatever the guy had, it caused Hanatora to be really interested in his soul in the afterlife. Like, she followed him everywhere he went after then to make sure that his soul will belong to her at the end. So that's very interesting. But he took down Wizen, and Wizen, in my opinion, he got off too easily. He lost his best arm and an eye. But the guy caused so much suffering, so it shouldn't have just been him living it out. But you can see it a different kind of way, where he had to live with being pathetic. He can't achieve his dreams, and apparently he died during the pandemic during that time, which caused him to wither away. You know, he had a slow and pathetic and painful death. Then you had with Tama and Jinka, they had to live their lives. You know, Jinka got what he wanted. You know, he became a Katawara in the end, a fox one. He even has ears and everything. And they lived together, you know, living with their old friends from back in the day when Jinka was still just a child. They were looking after their house this entire time. That's adorable. That's adorable. But, no, our final heroes, and that is with Senya, Nao, and Tsukiko. These three. These are the ones that everyone really paid attention to towards the end. And that's Sending Off Now. Sending Off Now was very tear-jerking in my eye. It's like saying goodbye to an old friend or a pet that you love for a long time. And you want to see them again, but you probably can't. They just have that tearful goodbye. You know, like the end of those old movies back in the day, like during the 1990s and early 2000s, where you had to set an animal free and you could no longer say hi to them anymore. Or at the ending of How to Train Your Dragon 3, you know, you had to say goodbye, you know. It was that kind of moment. And then it got me a little watery a bit, I'm not gonna lie. But then, what's happened afterwards? Time went on in the village that Senya and them lived in, pretty much lived outside of the world that was rapidly changing. Leaders and wars were happening. tons of people were being killed for the sake of power and land, ideology. The sake of samurai and swords were dying out. Things were just constantly changing, and many people grew old and died. To the point where even Shakugan, the woman who ended up marrying Shinsuke at the end, some might say that Shinsuke had two wives, and that was the god of the land, Hanatora, and also Shakugan herself. Shakugan was supposed to live just as long as Senya with her modified spiritual body, but that wasn't enough. She even ended up becoming an old granny as well. So there's that. Senya will live Freeland old. You know Freeland Beyond Journey's End? Yeah, he's gonna live that long. So he continued on. He had children with Tsukiko, and they grew up having children. And now he's ready to move on, wandering around the world on his pilgrimage, and just wandering. Helping people out, getting stronger, discovering the new ideologies of the world as it progresses through him. But he still gets to see old friends. He still gets to see Muda and still gets to see Jinka and everything. Tama. In my opinion, they did a better job at the epilogue than the manga did. They really did. Because there are some scenes and pictures they did not show in the manga where they did in the anime. They're showing Tama having a good time with the monkeys, drinking together. It showed Senya's family growing up. You did not get to see that in the manga. You don't. So you get bonus content in the anime, which I applaud Studio Webcomic for doing, for giving us that kind of content. Excuse me, I have a cough. What I do like to say, mainly, is because usually the manga gives more detail. The manga usually gives out more detail. But this time, when you see the anime giving you more detail than the manga, you can really tell that the animators want to give us a special treat. Appreciation toward the author and his work, allowing them to work on this fantastic project. It didn't have the best animation in the world, no, but it was good enough for the show itself. The show itself wasn't really always about battling all the time, but more about finding your inner peace, dealing with your past, accepting what you have to do in the future, and stuff like that. And him moving on through life despite all the hardships he may have to go through. Depending how long Senya has to live, he's going to have to deal with all the craziness that's going to happen in the world. If you know Japanese history, the constant wars, the fighting, the betrayals, and then World War II happens, then tsunamis and all that stuff. Senya is going to have to live through all that. Who knows, Muda and Jinka might be with him throughout that time, probably, but Senya is so modified to the point where you know how long he's going to last. So it's a bit crazy with that. But despite all that, he came to accept it because he has his memories. He has the experiences that he went through life that carries him on no matter what. So he's ready to face whatever may come in the future, which I do enjoy. It's a good way to handle an immortal every now and then. A lot of the times, immortals wish to die and they want to continue on anymore. But Senya is a special kind of person. I'm not saying he's an immortal, but he's allowed to live for a very long time and helping people out, wandering around the country. Who knows? He'll probably wander around the world someday. But with that being said, this is where the story ends. I really like to thank White Fox for working on this. I'm glad they did. Way better than Lucifer and the Mystic Hammer. And I kind of wish Planet Whiff was given better treatment as well. Have an actual ending. Now the question is, what else do I want them to work on next? Well, not White Fox itself, but what project? Like what other manga that Satoshi created throughout the years. And that has to be Spirit Circle. Whoever is a fan of Satoshi, there were two manga people said that were his best. That was between Sengoku Youko and Spirit Circle. Now, I don't think JC staff will animate Spirit Circle. They could, but I would like Studio Lightree to do Spirit Circle. I think they would do a great job with Spirit Circle. Spirit Circle isn't very fighting-like, but it is very gory, though. It's about a boy who lives out his different lives throughout his journey, and you see what kind of person he was through each timeline or dimension, and it all leads up to this crazy thing of karma and reincarnation and conquering life's mystery and everything. I would like to see that one. I still fight which one's my favorite between Spirit Circle, Sengoku, Youko. I don't know, but they're both great. So probably, maybe, the next work that Satoshi gets to work have his stuff animated will probably be Spirit Circle. Mark my words. But anyways, that's all I got for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and of course, hit that bell icon. This is Madcrownxox on Anime. Signing out.